you very much. And I will start, let's say, abruptly in a rather eclectic work with the team you are seeing here. So, born from the founder murder of the Nietzschean, Freudian or Marxist deicide, the man of our century is a mist and fragile anthropology built on the ruins of theology and cosmology, said Gerardus van der Leuve. On the other hand, we have to read one of the nicest books of Dokimov, who brought some arguments why the atheist humanism failed. Man is condemned to a sense, said Merleau-Ponty. The new godless man is crushed by worries and deaths. It says Sein zum Tode, as Heidegger said. And the dancing god of creation of Nietzsche regresses from Simios sapiens to Homo stupidus sometimes, said Dokimov. And of course, the nice words of Berdyaev, where God is absent, man does not exist either. What is the solution in nowadays? It's not, as it would seem, it's not a return to God. They believe neither in God nor in the afterlife. It's a replacement of man as he is now, as he was created. He was a disappointment in trying to manage their world without God. So, it seems they are trying to replace man. First, by what? By a Homo perfectus. As Pavel Danzak wrote in 2016, Homo perfectus is a transhumanist perspective which calls for perfecting man while stressing the enhancements of the human body and its performance or the cognitive capacities. What supposes body hack? It supposes enhancement or change to the body's functions through technological means, such as cybernetic devices or biochemicals. Expand human perception, create new senses, such as echolocation, infrared vision, improving physical or mental performance, memory, cognition, strength, endurance, managing one's own biology using a combination of medical, nutritional, and electronic techniques. As Professor Sibo Daniel advocated. Who are the body hackers? They are known also as grinders, self-identified community of people who experiment with various forms of body modification, such as magnetic implants, radio frequency ID chips, bioluminescent tattoos, or sensory augmentation. How? Okay, so you can enhance the brain by manipulating the brain's electrical signals or chemical balance. So you can affect mood, thoughts, emotions, memories, or behavior. You can influence the senses by interfering with sensory input or output. Someone can distort a person's perception or reality or create illusions. And, of course, the communication. By intercepting or modifying the communication signals, someone can manipulate a person's social interactions or influence their decision. What are the benefits? They were also explained before me. A status of well-being can be performance, creativity. You can empower a person to express themselves, okay? Or explore their potential by customizing their appearance or functionality. Can also foster a sense of community or collaboration among people. You already saw the interference of robots in social care and so on. So, though I don't agree with this, I mean, you know where the verb to cure, which is, okay, a very important verb in medicine, to cure comes from? Does anyone has an idea? cure comes from.
Curare. Latin.
What? No, I mean the origin of this curare. It comes from to care, which is the main effect of the human being. I mean, it comes from to care. So the patient will forgive you if you cannot heal him, but he will not forgive you if you don't care for him. So this replacing, maybe you can replace the social care, maybe better with a dog, which has his own soul than with a robot. In nowadays, I mean. It's my opinion. The risks, of course, the risks of this hacking can be to a person's health, safety, privacy, or autonomy. It's obvious why. It can provoke physical harm or infection if done improperly or without medical supervision, expose the person to cyber attacks or surveillance, of course, it's one of the purposes maybe. Can affect a person's identity or sense of self. It can expose the human being to viruses. So it seems that internet viruses, some of them stuck that wanna cry, not bake yet, try it on my doom and so on, can affect also the biological organisms such as humans. But there is also the idea of connecting the human brain directly to computers, known as the brain-computer interfaces, which has also, of course, positive things like great potential for medical, scientific, and technological advancements, but also potential vulnerabilities and security concerns to ensure the safety and privacy of the individuals, which is very difficult if you connect the brain to the computer. Well, and now I will quote from some of the books of Mr. Harari, who is the actual prophet of the Davos group. Schwab named him like this, the prophet, who says, man will lose their economical and military utility, and as a consequence, the economic and political system will stop attribute value to them. When an animal ceases performing a function, it disappears. The system will continue to find value in people collectively, I don't understand this, but not in single individuals. The system will find, however, value in some unique individuals, but these represent a new elite of upgraded supermen, which would be, of course, obvious eugenics. Well, it goes, his arguments to like, this is my term, I mean, my invention, not matrixation of human life. Mankind will prove to have been only a wave in the cosmic flow of data. Science converges towards an all-accomplishing dogma, according to which the organisms are algorithms, and life means data processing. Intelligence can be disconnected. This is very important, I wrote this, right? Intelligence can be disconnected from conscience. Why? You will see why it's important in his theory. Unconscious but extremely intelligent algorithms could soon know as better than we know ourselves. Well, can man be hacked? Okay, you will see these chapters in a book of Eroteos Vlachos, a recent book about biotheology and bioethics. It's the creation of biomedicine, biotechnology, medical patents. There are ethical problems, a lot of ethical problems there. Biobanks, there are thousands of private biobanks. Not ethical interference between private companies, research centers and commissions, eugenics, and the so-called biologic religion based on genetics. Some things, what above mentioned, is the direction EU, the direction 98, there is no patent approval for human body in various stages of its formation and development, including for the total or partial sequence of a gene. However, Big Pharma financed a lot this kind of research. We find also an act which was launched by Senator Sam Brownback, initiated a direction, it's not a law, against the Human Chimera Act. In the moment when Professor Weissman from Stanford was prepared for creating mice with 100% human brain. Okay? It seems a little bit science fiction, but it's real. So it was only a direction. Well, about eugenics, about selecting what is seen to be superior man or Superman. It was a term introduced in 1883 by Francis Galton, who was a cousin of Darwin. The human race would need a kind of artificial selection, so he said in 1906 eugenics is classified as a science, and later it was used, as we all know, by Hitler. Mentioned nowadays in connection with the necessity of appearance of a new species on the planet. And I was thinking about biologic relation, we already discussed it about God's gene. Anyway, it's based on genetics as a religion, solving in the future most of the human problems, they say. And of course, solving this and creating this, they consider themselves small gods. Well, now it's about hacking. So we discussed a little bit about hacking as enhancement of humans. Hacking is going to happen both ways. So you introduce parts of the human in the computer. Can you do this? Would you resolve the problem raised earlier about the fact that computers cannot have self-consciousness? Well, at least Harari pretends this. He said he describes a hybrid, organic and inorganic, huge platform with artificial intelligence, where you can download consciousness of selected persons, those who will live forever, because they don't believe in afterlife. So this is a kind of afterlife, eternal life. It's based on the computer, where you introduce the conscience of selected persons. I don't say it's possible, it's not my theory. So what do you need? Asks Harari, huge computing power. So you have to remember Google is actually a city. You saw probably photographs. A huge city. And you need also billions of biometric data, which are hackable. So it's, I said, metric stand for the downloaded consciousness to win the road to eternity. However, what would be unhackable in the human being? What about the soul? Let's discuss just 3 slides about the soul. It's Christian anthropology, according to the patristic tradition, affirms that the soul, that is rational and intelligible noetic, works as essence in the heart. The energy work of the soul is in the brain and holds the body. The soul keeps, maintains, gives light, and unifies the whole body. It's a very nice definition of St. John of Damascus in the 9th century. Is therefore a living substance, simple, incorporeal, unseen by its nature by carnal eyes, rational and understandable, formless. Also it uses the body as an organ and gives it life and growth and feeling and birth, without having another mind in his place, but only his own as the purest part. His self-mastery endowed with will and worker, changer by will, since all these he received them by nature, through the grace of the one who made him, by which he received being by nature in this way. Is it possible to transform the face of God in algorithm? I asked myself. Well, as you know, the icon face of the unseen God is Jesus Christ. Okay, we agree. Man is the face of the face. Ikonos, wrote by a great theologist of the 20th century, Panayotis Nellas. So, since God is incomprehensible, it is impossible that his face in man not to be incomprehensible. Said St. Gregory of Nyssa, man's nature will also be atheoretos, which evades theoretical consideration. So being the God's face barrier, man is related to God, like a rational being, creator, master, free, responsible for the administration of the creation, soul and body. Somatos sinos. And at the end, there are these definitions. Man is a human face of God, St. Gregory of Nyssa. Man is a microcosmos, but also a microtheos, small God. Thank you very much.